back to Making Food Monday. This week I'm actually finally in my brand new kitchen, but don't look around too much because it's not unpacked yet. So we're home in our brand new house and it is time to do Making Food Monday, but this week it has been so incredibly hectic that I decided to do something super fast and super easy, but it's basically kind of an experiment because I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I've had enough of you guys ask me if we can put a box cake in the pressure cooker that I thought this week we should give it a try. So this week we're doing nothing more than a box cake. We're actually going to need the box cake and we're going to completely follow the directions that it says. We're going to use 1 cup of water, half a cup of oil, and 3 whole eggs. And so we've got 1 cup of water, 3 eggs, and half a cup of oil. And that is going to be all that goes into our recipe today, guys. Okay, guys, so I've got my mixing bowl. I've got my 1 cup of water, half a cup of oil, and I've got 3 large eggs. There's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're gonna add the box cake mix. Now for this cake, we used funfetti because we're celebrating our new house, but you can use any cake mix you want. And that gets added right there. And then we need to mix that with our
tasting time.
Okay, now I've got 2 of these little pans that I'm just gonna spray with some non-stick spray, make sure my cakes don't stick. Okay, now I'm gonna make this cake exactly the way I would if I was putting it in the oven, so it's not gonna save us any time today. I'm just gonna see what the difference is between the oven and the pressure cooker. So this is kind of an experiment, like I said. This is not necessarily a recipe you wanna follow, but just so that we all know what happens when you put a box cake in the oven, we're making just a regular box cake with exactly the same recipe. Okay, now we're gonna take our cake mix and we're gonna put it into these 2 pans.
Yummy.
Now these are 6-inch pans, and on the box it says we should be using on the box it says we should be using 8-inch pans. So we're gonna have a little On the box it says we should be using 8-inch pans. So this cake is gonna be a little thicker than the one they're planning for us to bake. But I'm still gonna use the same time on my cakes because I just want to know how they behave in the pressure cooker. Okay, so this cake is filled just a little bit more than this cake is, and that is because this one's going to rise more, and that one is just going to be able to rise to the top of the pan because the other pan is going to be sitting on top. So that's what we've got there. 2 cakes ready to go in. Okay, so I'm going to make my little stand that goes on the bottom of my pressure cooker. And again, that's pretty easy. Roll it till you get to about to the middle and stop and turn around and roll the other side. Just because we need something to keep our pans up out of the liquid in the bottom of our pressure cooker. And that's going to keep this up out of the water. And that's all that is for. So this goes right into the bottom of our pressure cooker. And then we are going to add 1 cup of water goes in the bottom of the pressure cooker. That's how we're going to make our steam so that it can come to pressure. Then we need to cover our cakes with foil in an attempt to keep them from drying out. I'm just gonna cover that right up, just to keep the steam out, but the moisture in. I'm also going to make a nice long sling for my cakes so that I can put that right in the middle, and when the cakes are done, I can just pull them out by the sling here, not have to actually touch the hot pans underneath. So this is just gonna go straight down into the bottom of the pot. And then I'm gonna take the trivet that came with my pot and set that right on top of the first cake so that this second cake sits on top of the trivet instead of on top of the cake. It is gonna be all there is to it. Now we're gonna seal it up. Let's get these tucked in. We're gonna seal up our pot. We're gonna go down here to our chicken function because I know that to be my high pressure. And that time cook up to 35 minutes. That is because my cake mix says, where'd it go? 2 8-inch rounds, which is a little bit bigger than mine. So these cakes would be thinner than mine. Are gonna go from 34 to 38 minutes. So if I use that same timing and make smaller cakes, maybe it'll come out to be exactly the right thing. So that's what we're gonna do, and let's see how this thing turns out. Okay guys, the timer is expired. We're gonna let that pressure out. There we go. Okay, let's open her up. Okay, pull these right out of here. That's what my slings are good for. Be very careful with this part, guys. It's gonna be steamy and it might burn you with the steam, so. Oh, it's still raw in the middle. Look, I can see it. Oh no! So, just stick them back in, seal it back up. I think I'll give it just a little bit more time to see if we can cook those thoroughly. And I'll go back in to my chicken function, bring that time cook down. Let's do 10 more minutes. Let's see if that helps. Okay, there's our timer again. Now it's time to let the pressure back out and check it again. There we go. Okay, here comes the moment of truth again, guys. Let's check cake number 2, or number 1, whichever way you want to look at it. Okay, now watch your fingers again, because all that steam coming out is going to be hot. Ooh, this one looks much nicer. So yeah, I would say it looks a little bit more moist than a normal cake, but let's get some icing on these and see how well they do iced. Okay, so to get them out of the pans, I'm just gonna take a plate, lay it over the top, grab hold of it with my fingers, and flip it over. That was awesome. Yay! Just came right out, no problems. Okay, so I've cut open one of the cakes just so we could take a look at the inside of it. It is baked clear through. It feels a little denser than it might normally, like it didn't rise quite as much as it might in the oven, but it feels really close to just the regular cake. So I'm gonna frost this one. I'm gonna make this one look really nice with this just regular store-bought icing, just so we can see what's the difference between the cake that we baked in the oven and the cake that we bake in the pressure cooker. Now my cake is still hot. I don't normally ice a cake that is still hot, but in this case I'm going to make an exception just because I failed to leave enough time to let it cool. So that was my fault. So don't do that to your cake, but for this purpose I'm just going to go ahead and ice it even though it's still too hot to ice. It's going to melt off. Just be sure you guys understand it's going to melt off because of my error, not because of the pressure cooker. Okay, so I went ahead and put that cake on there just so I could make a layer of icing in between. Kind of makes the cake taste good. You have to be careful it doesn't slide off because that bottom cake is still really hot. Okay, I've got it made and it's plated. Now all we need are our guinea pigs. Do it.
Guinea pigs! Snail pig. Snail pig. Frog pig.
There's a crab pig behind you. Look at that crabby pig. Who wants a piece of cake?
Me!
Welcome to your new house, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome home, welcome home, welcome home.
Thank you.
Sorry about the packing mess. Nobody pay attention to the packing mess.
Yep.
We haven't fully unpacked yet. Who wants to try it?
I can't wait.
Jordan, you were nice and quiet.
Yay. Oh, me. So I'm going to take them. I think there was some cake in that. This looks pretty good.
So, do you like the cake?
Yeah.
Can you tell that it was in the pressure cooker?
I thought so because it was a little more dense.
Okay. But you like it anyway.
Oh yeah.
Baby, you're next.
Yay! I can take it.
Bless you, Dad. What do you think of the cake? Take a bite of the cake.
Okay.
Tell me if you like the cake.
Mm.
Is that good cake?
Mhm.
Nice. Thanks, that sideways thumbs. Okay, princess, you're up next.
I've been waiting for a long time.
What do you think?
Good.
Tastes like regular cake, or is there something different about it?
It just tastes like regular cake.
Thank you for your input. How many thumbs are you giving that?
For real.
All right, Dad.
All right.
You're the opinion that I really think matters the most because you would know the difference in the texture. So you have to really focus on the texture and tell me what you think of the difference.
It looks dense, but let's see. Very moist. Spongy, dense. Well, I'm surprised that you can bake a freaking cake in there. I mean, that's...
And it comes out, apparently, just fine. How many thumbs are you going to give that, Dad?
No, yeah. I'll give it 2 thumbs. It's really good.
Okay, guys, my final thoughts. I think it is impressive how well the pressure cooker bakes a cake. However, I still prefer to bake mine in the oven because when you put it in the pressure cooker, it doesn't do something to the chemical reaction to let it rise properly. So it's not as light and fluffy, it's more of a dense, heavy cake. It's still really moist and it works really well. So if you're out camping and you only want to take your pressure cooker and you don't want to have any other appliances, or if you have really limited space and you don't have space for an oven, it definitely works. You can bake a cake in a pressure cooker in a pinch, and it is okay. I still prefer it in the oven. But I'm kind of impressed that the pressure cooker could even do it. At first, I was thinking it wasn't even going to cook, and that if it did, it would be kind of, I don't know, too mushy, too spongy, and it's really not. It worked out pretty well. So I say, yeah, this gets 2 thumbs up, but I will probably just bake my cakes. So what did you guys think of the cake?
Mine changed this.
You're changing your thumbs to 2 thumbs up?
Yeah.
No sideways thumbs today? That's okay. I love 2 thumbs up. Thank you, baby.
I ate too much cake.
You ate too much cake? Your tummy hurts now? At the very least, we can say that the cake was edible, right?
Yep.
Yep. It
Not
was definitely a real cake.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to make this channel strong, share it with your friends. And now, good night, YouTube. See you tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. Poof, welcome home.